Hi, I'm Naisha McCauley, and you're watching AccessTV.org.
We're here live at the 97th Annual NAACP Freedom Fund, and we are standing with Irving Barnard. Irving, good to see you this evening. I know you look forward to coming out to the NAACP's event.
You bet.
Okay. Why is it so, so important for you to come?
Well, it's always okay to be within the community and network with the community and see what is going on in the community so that you can see how you can help. Very
good. Irving obviously has migrated here from other parts and has come into the Greater Hartford community to hopefully add and contribute to the fabric of the community. Is that the case?
That's it, yes.
Okay.
You're absolutely right. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time. I'm sure the NAACP appreciates having you here each year. Congressman John Larson, we're excited to have him here, obviously. He's been an advocate for civil rights for many years. Congressman, why is it so important for you to come out and be a part of this Freedom Fund dinner?
Because it's more important today than it ever has been. The need to empower and the need to engage. The need for the movement and what my dear friend and colleague in Congress, John Lewis, totally represents is the need for people to come together and understand the importance of the vote and the power of every single citizen. That's what this chapter has come over the 97 years to represent and acknowledge, and I'm so honored to have my colleague John Lewis up here to this district 2 months ago, and just last week, Jim Clyburn, the Democratic leader, and who, as I was pointing out, was the president of the NAACP chapter in Charleston, South Carolina, when he was 12.
Wow.
But he quickly pointed out the youth chapter. But it's so important what's going on, and the struggle continues. And for so many people today who have no knowledge of what transpired in order to get us here, and the great figures of our history, iconically represented by John Lewis, but also here in this community. Imagine to have not only the first black mayor in the city of Hartford and Thurman Milner, the first black mayor in all of New England.
Yes.
And in John Stewart.
Absolutely.
The first black fire chief.
Absolutely.
And the first black fire chief in all of New England.
Yeah.
And in Carrie Perry.
Yes.
The first black woman.
Absolutely.
Of a major city.
Absolutely.
Not only in Hartford, but of all of New England.
Absolutely. And a former NAACP president she was.
Exactly. And so this is still a very powerful movement. This still is at the center of our core beliefs of what we need to do to move the country forward. And if ever we needed to, if we look at Congress today, and imagine you have a group of people that would sue the President of the United States over extending health care rights to individuals, block all the issues that he tries to put forward on jobs, on the economy, and even on immigration.
Sure.
But you know this? I say to my colleagues on the other side of the aisle all the time, look, there's going to come a point where you have to love your country more than you dislike the President of the United States. This president has been courageous, he's been deliberative, he's a world leader, as he demonstrated just this past week again. It's an honor to serve with the Congressional Black Caucus members, people from the Congressional Hispanic and Asian Caucus, people who are devoted to civil rights, as has the NAACP, and to have this historic president and to see him go forward in the face of all the adversity that you could imagine. It's an honor to be there. That's all I can say.
Well, the NAACP, I'm sure, certainly supports your continued support and your continued advocacy, as well as the Greater Hartford area and the state of Connecticut. So my hat's off to you. Continue to do the good work that you do, and thank you for taking time to
I'm delighted to be here, and I just wanted to say, your honorees tonight Juanita Giles.
Yes.
I serve with Abe. Well,
Yes.
I don't think there's anybody that Abe didn't touch in his
agree.
lifetime, and everybody knew him. But Juanita, you talk about a force
Oh, absolutely.
behind the
I agree.
man is Juanita Giles, and she continues to this day.
Yeah.
What unbelievable compassion, what a heart, and what a belief for the people of North Hartford. I truly love her. And Curtis Robinson,
Right. Right.
You talk about somebody who's made it, but never forgot where he came from.
Absolutely.
And there isn't a philanthropic organization or corporation that this guy who rose to the leadership within Travelers, and it's just been remarkable. I think it's great. A community, John Kennedy used to say, communities stand taller in the people that they honor and the people that they bestow the gift of their great service to the American people. The NAACP in Hartford stands taller tonight for honoring Juanita and Curtis.
Our thanks to Congressman Larson for taking the time and continuing his support and advocacy for civil rights. I'm standing here this evening with one of tonight's honorees, a very, very dear friend, lovely person who's worked tirelessly in our community to make a difference. Miss Juanita Giles. Good evening, Miss Giles.
Good evening.
It is so wonderful to be standing here with you. Now, what does this NAACP stuff mean to you, and why do you continue to work so hard to, to do what you do?
Because they help all of us, everybody, regardless of what nationality. It takes care of everyone. That's the reason why. No one is just,
You not only talk the talk, you walk the walk. I see, you have done it for so many years. You're a shining example to us all.
Well, I try. I try to do my best.
And you've done well, Miss Giles. You've done extremely well.
And I thank the NAACP for honoring me at this event tonight. And I also thank God for allowing me to be here to share us on the 97th Freedom Fund dinner.
Well, that is our dear friend Juanita Giles here, one of tonight's honorees at the Greater Hartford NAACP's 97th Annual NAACP Freedom Fund. This is Russell Williams, W4 News. Thank you.
Hey everyone, my name is Charity Ann Chambers and everyone watches accesstv.org. Watch it, like it, and share it.
We're here at the 97th Annual NAACP Freedom Fund dinner, and we're standing with one of tonight's honorees, Curtis Robinson, who has been one of the stalwarts, one of the advocates for civil rights in this community for a whole bunch of years. Curtis, tell us why this organization is so important to you and why you continue to be such a strong supporter of it.
Well, I'm from Birmingham, Alabama, and I remember when I was a little kid, my mother used to take me to the church. We used to meet at the bottom of 16th Street Baptist Church where the little girls got bombed.
Oh, wow.
And we used to have a chapter of the NAACP there. So I always remember when I was a kid how we was fighting for things that's 50 years later, we're still fighting for the same thing. And but organizations like the NAACP have to exist. Unfortunately, I wish it was a situation where it didn't have to exist, but it does, because we still have what they call unconscious bias in this country. And if we don't address that, it's always going to continue to happen. We're always going to be necessary to have people who's going to look out for black people's best interests.
That unconscious bias seems not to just be local, but it seems to be throughout this country.
Throughout the world, unfortunately. And, and it's like, I know a lot of people who's not really prejudiced or racist, but it's just unconscious, because if they don't recognize you as being a singer or a dancer or playing some type of bouncing a ball, then you're nobody. And you always have to prove yourself every day who you are. And that should not happen in this country. You know, Martin Luther King said we should be judged by the content of our character, but not by the color of our skin. But unfortunately, we're still being judged by the color of our skin. And until that happens, organizations like the NAACP has to exist.
We appreciate you taking the time this evening. I think they couldn't have chose a more worthy person to honor this evening.
Well,
thank you for your continued tireless effort, Mr. Robinson, and
thank you.
Continue to keeping on.
Thank you, sir.
We're talking to Secretary of State Denise Merrill. Denise, why is civil rights and this Freedom Fund so important to you? I know you're our advocate for voting rights.
That's correct. This happens to be the 50th anniversary of the Civil Rights Act, probably the most important Civil Rights Act ever passed in this country. And I think that this fight for voting rights is real, it's now, and it's all over the country, but not in Connecticut, because we are all about getting more people to vote, not less.
Absolutely. But the NAACP's part in making sure that voting rights are upheld obviously is of paramount importance during this particular time.
Oh, absolutely. It is critical. And you've seen it all over the country, really, because when those voting rights were attacked with all these photo ID laws and the new laws passed around the country, you saw the NAACP stepping up and letting people know that people were trying to take their rights away. And I think it kind of backfired, frankly, in the last presidential election. They were counting on that making people stay home, not allowing them to vote, but instead, they came out in droves. And that shows you the American spirit is alive and well.
Absolutely. Well, we've got a champion in you, obviously, and we are glad to have you here at the event. What would you say to those who are paying attention to us this evening? What would you want them to know?
I want them to know that there are a lot of champions out there, some of whom you are honoring tonight, and that the NAACP's place of importance in some of these issues is critical, and keep up the good work.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. That is our Secretary of State, Denise Merrill. And we've managed to pull aside Senator Richard Blumenthal. We're hearing a lot about civil rights these days. Certainly the resignation of Eric Holder is first and foremost on the minds of a lot of people in the country. But your advocacy and your work in the arena of civil rights is quite frankly, it's unprecedented. And we appreciate it at the NAACP. Why is this NAACP so important to you and to us, especially now?
Well, the NAACP has been a steadfast champion, providing the kind of model of energy and leadership for Eric Holder, who has been a great Attorney General, as well as for me. I look to the NAACP as sort of the champion of civil rights and liberties. It's the conscience of America, and its conviction, its sense of purpose and commitment are what inspire me. And when the chips are down, when times are tough, the NAACP is the light that guides us in terms of fighting for civil rights and civil liberties, against discrimination, and for people regardless of their skin color, race, religion.
Rumor has it is that you may be one of those people picked to replace the Attorney General. How do you feel about that?
I'd be honored to be United States Attorney General, but I'm more honored to serve the people of Connecticut as their senator. So I hope to stay in the job I have now. I have immense respect and fondness for the president, and it would be hard to turn him down, but right now we're in the realm of speculation, and I really have the best job in the world. I love my job, so I plan to continue doing it.
Well, the NAACP certainly appreciates having you as a stalwart and an advocate for us for so many years, and the community does as well.
Thank you.
Keep up the good work. Any parting words for us?
I'm inspired by the NAACP in reaching out to people, particularly our young people. This next generation is going to be at the forefront of making America even stronger and better. We're the best nation in the history of the world, but we still are a work in progress, and the NAACP is providing me with inspiration and leadership that I need as a United States Senator, just as it did when I was Attorney General. So we need to keep fighting, keep working, advocating, and listening to people.
There you have it, Senator Richard Blumenthal, perhaps our future Attorney General for the United States. Who knows? But we want to thank him for his tireless advocacy for civil rights. This is Russell Williams, W4 News, accesstv.org.
We're from the Daughters of Eve, and we're here representing accesstv.org.
Watch it.
Like it.
Share it.
These are the monsters of the road. Ever drive alongside a tractor trailer in the rain? Scary. You're hoping they don't change lanes. Now they see you, now they don't. This monster can crush you in an instant. They may be insured for millions, but you're not thinking of that in a dangerous situation. I'm Attorney Jeffrey Dressler. Have an accident, you know what to do. Because this is what we do. 24/7, 11/22.
Hi, I'm Councilwoman Cynthia Jennings, and everyone is watching accesstv.org. Share it, watch it, learn from it. We are very proud to have accesstv.org in Hartford.
We're at the 97th Annual NAACP Freedom Fund Award here in the Greater Hartford area, and I'm standing with one of its members and one of its strongest advocates, Donna Liebman. Donna has migrated here from Detroit and walked right into the Greater Hartford area, ready to work with her sleeves already rolled up. Donna, why is this NAACP so important to you?
In this day and age, we have found that racism still exists, and we need to think of some positive strategies so the cultures can coexist for a better America, so that we will be able to, one, work against outside forces like in ISIS. I am so glad that Black people are making connections with their past, their future, and their present. And they're working together as a unit. And this dinner, and this Freedom Fund dinner, represents that. I am very happy to be here because of that, because I know that everyone here is proud to be an African American, and we're all going to work together. Thank you.
Chairman Jim Williams, chairman of the Martin Luther King Day Commission here in the state of Connecticut. Jim, why is this NAACP and civil rights so important to you?
Because a lot of people I know died.
Personally, you know. Well, that's remarkable, Jim.
My people are out of South Carolina.
Okay.
Okay, so it was a struggle for them. And I don't understand why people don't register to vote as if it was second nature. So it's important to me because I think we should all, rather you vote or not, register to vote is register to vote. Mm-hmm. And I think that's important. And
well, I know you are a big proponent of us having liberties to do the things that we are endowed and that God has given us. So what do you think now about this medical marijuana that's down in our neighborhoods?
I believe that it shouldn't be medical marijuana. I believe, as Colorado has shown, it's one of the best tax bases. I believe that 90% of the drug dealers would be off the street if it was legal. You understand what I'm saying?
Oh, I hear you. I hear you. So, and apparently the legislature, to some extent, agrees with you.
Yeah. Let's take the crime out of the drug. Marijuana is not an A drug.
how do you address now some of those people who've been incarcerated for so many years because of their marijuana use or selling of narcotics?
It's like this. When it was illegal, you played the game. Then you pay the cost. Should they do a time served if they legalize drugs? I think there's a lot of questions about who gets off and who doesn't. Because some people were doing it to feed their family. Other people were just hardened criminals. I don't want to be the judge on who does what.
An interesting issue for civil rights in this country during this day and time. We've spoken to Jim Williams, chairman of the Martin Luther King Day Commission, here at the 97th Annual NAACP Freedom Fund Dinner. And I'm standing with tonight some of the distinguished guests who are members, obviously, of the Greater Hartford chapter. Number one, the branch president of the chapter, Imam Muhammad Ansari, Bishop Luella Tate, Mark McKinney, and obviously some of their colleagues. Your name, sir?
Bishop Lou Sorrentino.
Bishop Lou Sorrentino?
Sorrentino.
Sorrentino. And?
My son.
Oh, Bishop Tate's son.
He's taking over for me.
Okay, fantastic.
Okay.
Now, you know what, I have you here. Why does the NAACP mean so much to you?
Because I grew up in Georgia and I always wanted to be a member. And when I came up here, that was the first thing I did, and I was 17 years old. Because it's about freedom, peace, justice, and God's work.
Amen.
God's work.
Amen. Amen. One of the ministries, I think. Would you agree?
I would agree completely.
Okay.
I think we've got some great leadership in NAACP, and they're going to lead the way to help make sure that the right thing is done. And we're going to be shoulder to shoulder on it.
Fantastic. And President Ansari?
Yes.
Tonight's event, it looks like it's shaping up to be a good one.
Yes, it is, and we're very happy and pleased with the turnout. And I just want to say that Mrs. Tate is Bishop Tate is a very strong supporter. As a matter of fact, she just took out a life membership for her church, church ministry. So, yeah, she's really supportive. We like the work she's doing. She's doing a lot of good work. And we need more people like that in the community.
Great, great. Tonight's keynote speaker is, I'm told, is a Reverend Nelson
The third.
The third, okay.
And he always wanted to add that third in there, even on his voice.
Okay.
Reverend Rivers the third.
I know he was a big part of the operations of the NAACP at one point in time, so he's going to bring the message this evening.
Yes, he is. And it's going to be a strong, powerful message.
Fantastic.
Thank you very much.
Well, we want to thank you all. Thank you all. Thank you all. This is Russell Williams, W4 News, at the Greater Hartford NAACP's Freedom Fund Dinner.
My name is Donna Liebman, advocate for the children in the community in Hartford. You are watching, and everyone is watching, Access TV. Explore, watch it, learn, like it, love it, inquire. Watch accesstv.org.
We're at the 97th Annual NAACP's Freedom Fund here in the Greater Hartford area, and we're standing with the president of the Greater Hartford African American Alliance, a stalwart in the community, a long-time labor leader, Clark King. Why does this civil rights stuff mean so much to you, brother?
Well, I'm telling you, I think surely we're going backwards, and we need to wake up that, things that's happening across the country is, I never thought I would see it again. Right. But it seems that we're in trouble.
We've lost ground.
A lot of ground.
Yeah. So the NAACP still stands as the vanguard, if you will, stands out front in terms of civil rights and should continue to stand out front in terms of civil rights. Is that
That's
where
true.
we're at?
That's true. The only standing organization that fights for that. You know, and if we lose them, we lose everything.
You heard it from the president of the Greater Hartford African American Alliance. The NAACP is still very relevant, very important for us in this day and time. Thurman Milner, who's been at the forefront of civil rights for many, many years and continues to support and continues to advocate for this organization we call the NAACP. Why does this organization remain so important to you and remain so important to this country?
Well, I think it's more important today than it was during the early civil rights days, because you had a whole lot of supporting organizations back during the civil rights days, but a lot of them have wandered out or watered down. Today, with all the issues that we face, with the shootings, with the terrorism, with everything else that happened on, the NAACP is more important to me than it was before. And I'm just hoping we get more younger people to understand that and to get involved with this organization.
We just talked to Congressman John Larson, who pointed out to us that you and us, if you will, it becomes more important now for us to make sure that those who are coming behind us understand all that's transpired in our history to bring us to this point.
That's true, because the problem is, I think we're not teaching our younger folks the struggles that got us to today. They take everything for granted and they don't get involved with nothing. And I think it's important. And I think we got to start with our educational system. We've got to teach our young people in school the true history of African Americans in America.
You've heard it. We've spoken with our first black mayor, large New England city, Thurman Milner, here at the NAACP's annual Freedom Fund dinner here in the Greater Hartford area. And we're standing with Councilman Ken Kennedy. We want to know from you, Ken, why this NAACP remains so important and so vital to the landscape here in the Greater Hartford area and frankly around the country.
The NAACP is the oldest civil rights organization. It is still the organization upon which we all organize around. When an issue needs to be raised, apart from politics and it needs real activism, you go to the NAACP. It's been like that. My grandmother taught me that. It's like that today. When the politics are not working the way they should, right? When issues of people are afraid to raise up certain issues, the NAACP is the organization that will fight the fight. And that's why we're all here to pay respect to the organization. That's why I'm here. That's what my grandmother told me when I was young.
All right.
Nothing's changed.
And obviously we all listen to Grandma.
We all listen to Grandma.
How do you judge a law firm's success? Cases won, money made, or what the firm does in the community? At Dressler Strickland, we know that success is just the beginning. The true measure of success is what you do with it. For 33 years, we've used our success to help our neighbors and our community. 24/7, 11/22. Whenever you need us, we'll be there. Dressler Strickland, building communities one case at a time.
Hello, my name is Giselle Jacobs. I am with Breaking the Cycle, empowering families for children and families in the community who have been impacted by incarceration. And everyone watches accesstv.org. Like it, watch it, share it.
We're here at the annual NAACP's Freedom Fund dinner, and we're standing with one of our distinguished jurors, Don Westbrook. Don, why does this civil rights organization mean so very much to you?
Well, it's clearly the oldest civil rights organization in the nation, and it still holds a special place in my heart and many in the country's heart. And the Freedom Fund dinner symbolizes that. You know, it's the largest fundraiser for each of the chapters, and I'm always happy to be here.
It's wonderful having you here. Is there anything in particular that you think that as a civil rights organization we should be addressing now?
Well, I'll leave that up to the leaders of the organization.
Oh, okay.
I think they're doing a pretty good job right now.
Fantastic.
All right.
And we're standing with our state treasurer, Denise Napier. Denise, why does this civil rights organization mean so very much to you?
It's all about, from where I sit, economic empowerment, expanding economic opportunity, and there are many ways that we should be doing that. And I am a lifelong member of the NAACP.
Wonderful.
And I believe that its mission is just as important today as it was many decades ago, and relevant and necessary.
Absolutely. We appreciate your continued support. I mean, you work tirelessly in the state treasurer's office to make sure that somebody who looks like us, actually is a part of the voice that goes out throughout this country.
That's right. That's right. At the Treasury, we have an unsurpassed record of doing business with minority-owned suppliers and women-owned suppliers. I would say that we have tripled our investments in these firms, and there's ancillary benefits to that because these firms help to grow our economy, create new jobs, and ensure that a quality of life. And we do know that here in our state, small businesses represent the lion's share of new jobs. So it's important that we support our small businesses and those businesses that will give back to our communities.
Fantastic. I know the NAACP, loves your continued advocacy, and the community certainly appreciates it. We want to thank you for taking the time out to speak with us this afternoon. Any parting words for us?
Yes, I wish the NAACP continued success in another 90-some years.
Yeah. Well, you've heard it from our state treasurer, Denise Napier. We want to thank her for her continued work in advocacy in the area of civil rights. We're at the 97th annual NAACP Freedom Fund dinner here in the Greater Hartford area, and I'm standing here with one of our distinguished education administrators, Joanne Gay. Joanne, why has the NAACP remained so relevant to you, and why are you here tonight supporting the organization?
Well, basically, we know that there should be a real focus on children of color. Now make up 40 to 50% of the total nation's school population. NAACP has always focused on children of color, and now more than ever we need to because of the growing population and also the travesties that we see happening to our black male youth. So it's relevant, we need it, and I'm here to support the organization.
Wonderful. You've heard it from Joanne. We're here at the NAACP's 97th Annual Freedom Fund Dinner. This is Russell Williams reporting for W4 News.
Good evening. My name is Maggie Gardner, President of Gardner's House. You're watching AccessTV.org. Watch it, like it, share it.
We're at the 97th Annual Freedom Fund Dinner here in the Greater Hartford area, and I'm standing with tonight's keynote speaker, the Reverend Nelson Rivers. Good evening, Reverend.
Good evening.
We're glad to have you here, and we're excited to hear tonight's message. Why has this NAACP been so very, very important to you, and why does it remain so important and vital to our communities?
Well, because the fight for freedom and justice, of course, first of all, I'm glad to be back in Hartford. I'm glad that President Asari has asked me, and my friend Joan Gibson. Good to see Brother Ben Andrews tonight. But the NAACP has been on the forefront of the struggle for justice since 1908, and really our founding in 1909. And so I was really grateful and humbled to be asked to come back again. The NAACP has led to so many changes that people now take for granted. So once a year, it's appropriate that they should remind the community, celebrate leadership in this community, and bring folk together for their primary fundraiser, but also to remind themselves and to remind us where we would be without the great work of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. And so it's appropriate that we be here tonight I'm glad you're recording this. I'm glad to be here. I think that this evening, with the state's attorney being the MC for the matter, many of the people being honored tonight, makes it a gala and positive event and a powerful reminder that even in 2014, there is injustice in America. Racism is alive and well and living even in Connecticut and living in Hartford. And so we need to be able to rise up and continue to fight the fight, because when you back up, you will get run over, and when you stop, you'll be trampled upon. And what better way to do it than with the Greater Hartford branch of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. And I'm glad to be here.
Great words of encouragement. We remember your leadership even in South Carolina when you led the organizing of the removal of the flag.
Yes, we just talked about that with the state's attorney.
Okay. Well, we hope that tonight means as much to you as it means to us, and we're looking forward to tonight's message.
Well, thank you so much. Hartford is one of my favorite places. I love to come. I've been to Connecticut now 3 times in the last 8 months, but not to Hartford, and so I'm glad to be back. And yes, it was a tremendous opportunity to take the flag off of the dome, but they put it in front of the building. So our fight does still continue. And with the police killings of our young men, with our own young people killing each other, we have a lot of work to do in the area of justice, and even within our own community. So the branch is on the forefront of that. They will be encouraged as president and this branch, so they will not back up, but move forward ever.
Thank you so much to Reverend Nelson Rivers, tonight's keynote speaker at the 97th Annual NAACP's Freedom Fund Dinner here in the Greater Hartford area. My name is Russell Williams. This is W4 News.
That footage needs to be deleted, sir.